Welcome to the deep dive. You gave us the sources, excerpts from The Wrong Venus, and we're here to really dig into them. Today, it's all about Lawrence Colby, an operative with a wild past, and the woman who basically flips his world upside down, Martine Randall.
Yeah, it's less a standard novel and more like a masterclass in crisis management, isn't it? Our mission here is to unpack this incredible density of information. You've got smuggling, identity theft, kidnapping, literary fraud, all happening at once.
Right, it's dizzying. Geneva, London, Paris. But we also need to figure out how they navigated it all. What was it about Colby and Martine that let them turn complete chaos into, well, success?
Exactly. And Colby's background before Martine is already, it's unbelievable. Before 30, he'd been a Korean paratrooper, art student, PR guy, scriptwriter.
A dealer in art forgeries, newspaper man.
Oh, and he ghost wrote an autobiography for a homicidal maniac, plus married twice. Once to an actress with kleptomania, the other to an activist who threw stones at embassies. He's practically a magnet for trouble. But the key thing, the real pivot in the narrative, is that he says all that stuff, everything before Martine, was a time when nothing ever happened.
Wow. That tells you everything about her impact, doesn't it? She's not just a partner. She's like the catalyst that makes sense of all his weird, scattered skills.
Precisely. She pulls it all together, and it starts immediately with him in serious trouble.
Okay, let's get into that. Section 1, the high-flying heist, watches, and creme de menthe.
Yes. Colby's flying Geneva to London. He's smuggling 300 Swiss watch movements hidden in a vest, and 100 of those have alarms or chimes.
Okay, already sounds like a bad plan. Things that make noise through customs.
Well, the reward must have been huge, but the immediate problem is the flight itself. Turbulence hits, and these are self-winding movements, right?
So the rotor starts swinging.
Violently, storing energy, making the ticking louder and faster. The vest is basically becoming an audible alarm clock right when he needs silence for customs.
And that's when Martine, sitting next to him, notices.
She hears it and confronts him with that brilliant dry line, "I hope you're not carrying a bomb," just cuts right through the tension.
So they need to stop the ticking, fast, on a plane. What do you even use?
They need a solvent, something clear. All they can get from the flight attendant. White creme de menthe.
Peppermint liqueur.
Serious? So picture this. Colby and Martine crammed in a tiny airplane washroom during severe turbulence, trying to dip 300 delicate watch movements into sticky mint liqueur.
It sounds like a recipe for disaster, just pure physical comedy.
Oh, it is. The description's fantastic. They're doing this frozen and exaggerated tango step, crashing into walls, splashing creme de menthe everywhere. But it works.
Oh, how? How does mint liqueur stop a watch?
It essentially gums up the works. It's viscous enough to stop the tiny gears, silencing the ticking without, dissolving the metal parts. The source says they died like spiders in cyanide.
Vivid. Okay, so watch is silenced, threat 1 neutralized. But they still have this bulky vest full of contraband.
Right. Getting past customs is the next hurdle. And Martine switches gears from, amateur chemistry to full-on stage management.
She comes up with a plan.
She does. Silence isn't enough. They need misdirection. They roll the sticky, silent vest up in Colby's coat and her own very expensive, very noticeable, natural mink coat.
Using luxury to hide the illicit goods. Okay.
A key is drawing attention away from Colby, who's clutching this bundle. So diversion 1, a kid near passport control with a transistor radio blasting Johnny Halliday. Colby thinks it's the Beatles.
Okay. Creates noise and confusion.
Diversion 2, Martine herself. She suddenly spots friends, totally imaginary friends, the Westrays, and starts yelling this loud, frantic greeting across the hall.
Oh, that's brilliant. All eyes on the dramatic woman in the mink coat having a meltdown.
Exactly. Total social chaos. Colby, looking just like a flustered husband overloaded with coats, just slips right through, untouched.
It's their first real team-up, isn't it? Shows her strategic mind immediately.
Absolutely. She thinks layers ahead. Which leads us right into the next mess. Section 2, the ghostwriter trap.
So they barely landed, and they're already on to the next crisis. This time it's literary.
Yep. Martine reveals she sometimes does work for a detective agency, and she immediately hires Colby. His weird resume is perfect for this.
What's the job?
Ghostwriting. Specifically, the last 50 pages of a novel by Sabine Manning.
Sabine Manning. Famous for her Bedroom westerns, like Violence in the
The
Flesh.
very same. Hugely popular, hugely profitable, and the agent, Merriman Dudley, is desperate for this finished book.
Why the desperation?
Dudley's in deep financial trouble, lost $400,000 on bad stocks. He needs this manuscript now to secure about $1.2 million in reprint and movie rights, plus cover an urgent $80,000 tax bill. The book is literally his lifeline.
Okay, high stakes. But why isn't Manning finishing it herself?
Because she quit writing 7 months ago. Vanished.
Why?
Well, this is where it gets really tangled. She apparently met a young Italian art forger, Roberto.
Wait, the same Roberto that Martine knows? And who tried to steal a forgery Colby sold?
The very one. During Roberto's botched theft attempt, get this, Manning got stuck in a wastebasket made from a rhinoceros leg.
You're kidding? A rhino leg wastebasket?
That's what the source says. And apparently, in this bizarre incident, she discovered sex, fell for Roberto, and ran off with him to cruise the Greek islands. Decided writing was boring.
Okay, so, no author. Who was writing the book?
A ghostwriting team. Casey Sanborn, an old pulp writer, did the plot, the Western Bones, and Kendall Flanagan, a Madison Avenue ad writer, did the style.
The flesh tones. That dewy and tremulous marshmallow prose.
Exactly. Flanagan was the key stylist, but now she's disappeared. With only 50 pages left to write and $1.2 million on the line.
So Colby has to step in and somehow replicate her specific profitable style.
That's the plan. But things immediately get even more complicated.
Of course they do. Which brings us to Section 3. Information overload. Kidnapping, reporters, it all hits at once.
Pretty much. First, the reporter. A guy named Moffat from the Los Angeles Chronicle manages to sneak into the house where they're working in Paris, and he gets the whole story.
The ghostwriting, Manning's disappearance, Dudley's financial mess.
Everything.
Everything. If that story breaks, they're finished. Dudley's ruin, the deals collapse.
So Colby and Martine need to stop him. How?
Pure theater. They stage an incredibly elaborate, completely fake scene at the bar of the George V Hotel.
What kind of scene?
Martine pretends to be a glamorous starlet named Najla Loring. They hire a photographer, rent 2 huge borzoi dogs, Sacha and Dimitri.
Borzoi. Just for the sheer spectacle. They make sure Moffat overhears them having this loud, dramatic conversation.
Feeding him a fake story.
A completely fake story. That Sabine Manning died of cholera in Egypt and Dudley ran off to Brazil with all the money.
That's audacious. Does it work?
Perfectly. Moffat buys it. He thinks the real story he uncovered is now old news, maybe even a setup. He apparently rips up his notes, terrified of looking like a fool. They played on his journalistic fear.
Okay, Crisis 1 averted. But you said there was more.
Oh, yeah. Crisis 2 lands right on top of them. The kidnapping.
Kidnapping. Who?
Kendall Flanagan, the missing ghostwriter, the stylist.
The one Colby is supposed to be replacing. She's been kidnapped.
Yes, and here's the twist. The kidnappers are total amateurs. Jean-Jacques, Remy, Gabrielle, and they think they've kidnapped Sabine Manning, the famous author.
Oh, mistaken identity. How much do they want?
$100,000. But they're so incompetent, they've been calling the house for days, shouting in French at Dudley, who doesn't understand a word they're saying.
So Colby has to handle this too.
He steps in, adopting another persona. This time he's Duke Colby, a tough guy troubleshooter from Chicago.
Drawing on his homicidal maniac ghostwriting experience.
Seems like it. He starts throwing around completely made-up mob jargon, Healy pickup, Cicero drop, terms that mean nothing but sound terrifyingly professional to these amateurs.
Trying to intimidate them.
Exactly. And he throws in a threat involving a real known killer, Pascal Decaux, someone Colby actually interviewed once. That really panics them.
Does he get the ransom down?
All the way down to 30,000 francs, a huge drop. He makes the exchange, but then the kidnappers get desperate and grab him too, tie him up.
So now Colby and Kendall are captured.
Briefly. But Kendall isn't just a stylist. Turns out she's 6 feet tall, silver blonde, and a judo expert.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah. She manages to untie Colby in the getaway car, takes out 2 kidnappers with some spectacular flash of blue judo move, and they escape, eventually crashing their Citroen into a haystack.
What a sequence.
Yeah.
Okay, escape successful, but it's not over, is it?
Not even close.
Yeah.
As they're recovering, they see a newspaper headline, "Did Bougie kill Pepe? Who is this ravishing Bougie?"
Bougie. Who's Bougie?
That's the third crisis hitting them. Kendall confesses. She's Bougie.
The ghostwriter is Bougie. What does that mean?
It means she was present when Pepe Torian, some high-ranking foreign minister of defense, was assassinated by a man disguised as a postman.
Wow. So she's a witness to a political assassination.
A key witness. Torian had nicknamed her Bougie, it's French for spark plug, or candle.
So the kidnappers grabbed her thinking she was a novelist, but she's actually being hunted for witnessing a murder.
Precisely. Two completely different threats converging on her. And the nickname Bougie is how the assassins are tracking her. She escaped the initial scene by throwing a TV out the window as a diversion.
Throwing a TV, this just gets wilder.
It really does. Which leads us to the big problem in Section 4, the Great Escape.
Let me guess. The assassin is nearby.
He's literally outside the Manning house in Paris. Pascal Decaux, the guy who killed Torian, the same killer Colby used as a threat against the kidnappers. He's disguised as a painter, just waiting for Bougie to show up.
Okay. So Kendall can't just walk out. How do they get her away?
This is where Martine takes charge with, frankly, logistical genius.
Yeah.
Colby handles chaos well. Martine orchestrates complex plans.
What's the plan?
A moving van. Michel Frere, déménagement. She brings in a whole team of helpers, including Roberto, the ex-art forger.
Roberto's back.
Okay. Kendall is hidden inside a large wooden crate.
Just in a box.
Not just her, also in the crate, the 30,000 francs ransom money they recovered, and one of the amateur kidnappers, who Colby had apparently tied up and drugged with sleeping pills.
She's in a crate with ransom money and a drugged kidnapper.
Yes. It's efficient packing, I guess.
And how do they stop Decaux, the assassin outside, from realizing what's happening? Or recognizing Colby?
Decoy time. Georges, the cook, puts on Colby's coveralls and pretends to be one of the movers just to confuse Decaux if he spots him.
But that's not the main trick, is it? Martine does something more elaborate.
Much more. She realizes Decaux might have seen Colby earlier, might be suspicious. So simply driving the van away isn't enough. She sets a trap.
A trap for these assassins.
Timing and psychology. The moving van with the crate inside drives off. Then, exactly 2 minutes later, 4 of Martine's friends arrive, dressed convincingly as police judiciaire officers.
Fake cops.
Fake cops, led by a guy named Emile Voivin. They stage a loud, frantic search of the Manning house, asking for Bougie.
Why is that the trap?
Think about it from Decaux's perspective outside. He sees the crate leave in the van. Then, moments later, he sees police swarming the house, clearly looking for Bougie inside.
So he thinks the police don't know she's in the van. He thinks she must be in the crate, and he's got a head start on the cops who are searching the wrong place.
Exactly. It convinces him his target is in the van, and that he needs to follow it immediately before the real police figure it out.
Did he fall for it?
Hook, line, and sinker. Jumps in his car, chases the van.
Did he catch them? Is there a shootout?
Nope, nothing so dramatic. The fake cops report back to Martine later. Decaux chased the van, ran out of gas, and ended up blocking traffic right in the middle of the Étoile, near the Arc de Triomphe.
He ran out of gas.
Yep. Got arrested by actual police for obstructing traffic, the international assassin taken down by Parisian traffic laws. Brilliant anticlimax.
Incredible. So Kendall's safe, the killer's caught, the money's recovered. What about the book? Which brings us to Section 5. The master stroke.
Right. With all the immediate danger gone, the original problem resurfaces. The novel. And just then, Sabine Manning herself returns.
The author is back from her cruise with Roberto.
Well, apparently she ditched Roberto. She returns tanned, vibrant, with a new escort named Carlito, and she confirms her telegram. She thinks her old novels are horrible, sexy slush.
So she's not going to endorse the finished book.
Worse. Her new passion is serious, obscure history, submarine archaeology specifically. She's written a draft called An Inquiry into Certain Analogous Practices in Afro-Roman Naval Architecture.
Oh boy, the publisher and agent must be thrilled.
They arrive, Holton, the publisher, Thornhill, the agent, and they are horrified. The archaeology book is unsellable, and the finished sex novel, This Driven Flesh, is now toxic because the author is publicly trashing it. Their $1.2 million looks gone.
So what happens? Does Martine reveal the ghostwriting?
She does, but not in the way you'd expect. First, she reveals that Kendall Flanagan did finish the manuscript. It's typed, 380 pages, delivered at 7 a.m. that morning.
Okay, the book exists.
Then Martine does something amazing. She buys the completed novel manuscript herself.
Buys it? From who?
From Dudley, essentially, for $19,000.
Why $19,000? And why buy it?
Because $19,000 was the total amount paid out to the original ghostwriters, Sanborn and Flanagan. It covers the cost of creation. Martine basically takes control of the $1.2 million asset by settling its minor production debt. It's an incredible financial maneuver.
Wow, okay, so she owns the book. Now what?
Now comes the branding genius. She tells Holton and Thornhill they should publish the sex novel, This Driven Flesh, but not under the name Sabine Manning.
Under whose name then?
Under Sabine Manning's birth name, Florelle Scudder.
Florelle Scudder?
Exactly. Martine lays out the logic. Sabine gets to keep her new public image as a serious historian working on submarine archaeology. She can publicly distance herself from Florelle Scudder's racy novel, but she still privately collects the huge royalties that estimated $1.2 million.
Letting her fund her expensive archaeology research.
Precisely. It's the perfect solution for Manning. She gets the image and the money. And Manning, seeing this, immediately agrees. Loves the idea.
Colby must have been floored.
Completely amazed. He realizes Martine wasn't just reacting, she was playing a long game. He suspects she intended to acquire the novel rights all along, using the chaos to drive down the perceived value. A cold bluff, a fantastic gamble.
So looking back, it's just an astonishing sequence of events.
It really is. Smuggled watches, a crushed reporter, foiled kidnappers, an arrested assassin, a salvaged bestseller, all through this blend of improvisation and brilliant strategy.
And what was Martine's final insight? You mentioned a calculation she made.
Yes, this comes out later when they're in Rhodes, finally relaxing. She tells Colby her big gamble, buying the novel, wasn't just financial. It was based on reading Sabine Manning's character.
Oh, so?
She looked at photos, read between the lines. She realized Manning wasn't some heartbroken victim who quit writing over Roberto. The standard cliché didn't fit.
So what was Manning then?
According to Martine's analysis, an incredibly shy, inhibited woman who simply got bored with her success and her lover. She genuinely embraced the intellectual challenge of archaeology. Martine bet that Manning would value the new persona and the research funding more than clinging to her old literary identity, and she was right.
That's some deep psychological insight driving a $1 million deal.
It is. And the final touch. While Colby and Martine are in Rhodes, they hear that Kendall Flanagan Bougie, the judo expert, the stylist, has accepted Thornhill's offer.
Offer for what?
To write all the future Sabine Manning novels, the ghostwriter became the official ongoing replacement.
Perfect. The ultimate triumph of the fake identity. Which leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? What does it really say about fame, fortune, and maybe us, the readers, when a $1 million book is launched under a fake name the author publicly disowns, all while she's off pursuing ancient shipwrecks?
A very interesting question about authenticity and value in our culture.
Something for you to ponder. Thanks for diving deep with us today.